This is Observious bringing you guys another League of Legends commentary, and I did promise that I'd keep on doing this Dominion Marathon, and this is in fact a Dominion game, but this would actually be Dominion game, I believe, number 59, but I'm going to go ahead and do this one in advance. I'm going to label it something different, as mainly I'm doing this to showcase the new Super Teemo, as, why not? That just seems like a great idea. If this whole thing gets botched and is terrible and just overall doing it live just doesn't work on Dominion because of the action being everywhere and all of that, then of course I will naturally just delete the whole recording and upload it whenever I get to this game. But I figured you guys might want to see Super Teemo because Super Teemo is super and he just seems pretty neat to have. But of course we're going to go ahead and look at the team composition. We do have a Xerath, a Aurelia, a Malphite, Teemo, and Katarina. This mainly means that we're going to have a fairly steady bottom lane if Malphite or Xerath take that lane. However, it does seem that, let me hold off first off to turn down my master volume so that way you guys can hear me just a little bit better. And I do apologize, I am going to be louder for this recording as my volume in general is turned up a lot. So you can see that Teemo is already a little bit different, just because of his skin. Same, different words. There's Katarina getting in the way. He does walk. I think he walks a little bit differently. It's hard to tell. But when he activates Move Quick, he does in fact fly, and I'll show you guys the whole mushroom bit and what they look like later on. But we are going to go ahead and play a map, and everybody wants to go top, so I guess I am going bottom, because that's just apparently what I need to do. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and take my shoes. Now, something that has been a bit of an issue for my past few matches, you guys of course won't be seeing these for a while, is that people have not really been able to hold on to their bottom lane. I'm not too convinced that Teemo is a good choice to hold bottom lane, but nonetheless, we are going to be heading down there, flying as a matter of fact, because we are Super Teemo, and we will get what we can get, and they will in fact send the reliable Morgana to the bottom lane. She has of course sent off the good luck, have fun. I hope she means it, as we will need it, and let's see if we can actually be a decent match for her. Now in general, Morganas, if they can land Dark Binding, I am so very dead. So hopefully she won't be able to land Dark Binding. We just need to keep them away. Woo, that was very close. Speaking of, gonna go ahead and toss that out. She does have more health than me. You can see that right there. I think she rushed a catalyst. Yes, she did, as well as the health potion. She's going to be much more sustained than I am, although I will have access to this health. And she is going to, of course, miss that last Dark Binding right there. Meanwhile, it looks like we've lost the fight for top, so I really need to hold on to this lane. Now, a Catalyst Morgana is nearly impossible to get out of lane unless you're just constantly poking her for free. And oh no, I've been hit by a Dark Binding. This is pretty bad. I need to get out of here. She's thrown down an Ignite even. Gonna go ahead and pick up the health, even though it is going to be reduced healing. And she's just being really, really aggressive. She should be landing a Dark Binding shortly. Where is she? I don't even know. But I'm guessing she just foolishly wheeled around behind me to try to catch me. She should be throwing another one right there. It will in fact catch that super minion, and there's that tremendous oil, and you can see she's just dominating me. I really hate defending as Teemo unless it's like versus another AD, or not another AD, but versus an AD champion. And here you can see why. You cannot really handle Morgana unless you are a fighter or a poker. Or an anti-mage, of course, I guess. I'm gonna go ahead and fly away, and I really, really, really hate this lane. I hate it. Someone else take over, please. Alright. Anyways, so I am struggling. None of the expected people that were supposed to be going bottom lane went bottom lane, so I'm just being bad overall. Woo, look at that T for Teemo mushroom. Yeah, cool. Anyways, throwing that down there while my health gets cut down to less than half HP because Teemo is so squishy while I cap this lane. Meanwhile, Aurelia's holding on to the Boneyard. Not the Boneyard, but the Quarry. I'm capturing the Boneyard. And so we are going to be okay for now. Although I don't know how long this will last. And it looks like Aurelia will in fact get picked off. He is low, but that won't last. And here's where I foolishly get hit by a Dark Binding. I even went into it. Oh, how foolish of me. And I just barely lived because of the fact that Morgana was indeed blinded. And so that will be that. Gonna go ahead and drop a mushroom here and immediately recall. Hopefully no one finds me. She should go ahead and actually throw a missed Dark Binding. And I'm gonna go ahead and rush that needlessly large rod, as I'm going to be rushing a Death Cap. Now, Aurelia's going to take over down there, so that's great there. And that's another thing, whenever Teemo activates Move Quick, a trumpet will occasionally sound. Kale's relatively low, but she's recalled. It does leave Akali defending that top tower. We'll see what we can do there. Aurelia should do relatively okay versus Morgana. Morgana is actually showing that she is in trouble. I was able to get this Storm buff in advance, and oh bad, it's an Akali. Gonna go ahead and start ghosting out. He did pop that mushroom. That is a very dead Tryndamere, and so I will be turning around to give chase over here and let Katarina finish her off, and that is in fact what she will do. So I'm gonna go ahead and head off towards the windmill and try to capture this point. Meanwhile, there's a wave of minions heading off towards our drill. Xerath's gonna go ahead and handle that with his lovely skill shots. Xerath being the new champion, Graves being the champion that is coming out in this next week for those who are watching this commentary afterwards. Anyways, while I was looking away, Kale snuck up on me because I was not looking at the map, and that turret plus Kale might be enough to finish me off. No, she is going to in fact hit that mushroom, especially with that lightning channel, and Kale's ultimate will be able to kill Kale. I'm pretty sure. Nope, Kale does go ahead and in fact toss down that ultimate, and so she will be just dandy. Gonna start channeling on this side and see what we can do. Now, if Kale gets in range of my Blinding Dart, she's dead, but that's not even needed, as Katarina is just going to go ahead and finish her off, and Xerath's making sure to use all of his procs to clear out that minion wave, not wanting to waste his ultimate. And meanwhile, it looks like we have indeed lost the bottom lane, so that is no bueno. Akali looking like she wants to come up here and defend the refinery. That's not going to stop me, as I don't have a mushroom watching my back at all. There's Yorick, time to back off, and now I'm just going to go ahead and fly away. So I know there. Whoa, there's a Tryndamere, so I'm going to go ahead and silence him and throw down a mushroom, turn around. That is not going to do anything, but they are going to at least hit the mushroom, and so that will cause some damage. Meanwhile, actually I think he popped all of my mushrooms, so I can't really do anything to help Xerath here, even in my death, and so I am going to go ahead and just keep on working respawning. I need this Death Cap as fast as possible. Are any of them building any magic resist at the moment? No, they are not, so I'm off to fly away and try to take the windmill, or at the very least hold on to our drill. So let's go ahead and do the dance. That will make us, of course, go invisible via lovely, lovely camouflage. And I will get blown to pieces there, but I was able to pick up the kill onto Tryndamere. That Tryndamere used his ultimate as a ghost, funnily enough, and Akali was not able to pick off. Xerath was not able to pick off Akali before he died, so that will leave the Yorick and the Akali to take this point and make it theirs. I do have enough to get the Death Cap, but I'm not even going to take the time to buy it, as I was too busy looking at the action, and I need to get down here to the drill to do what I can there. You are very dead, Akali. Please jump in my face. Even if you grab health, you are dead. And she is just one auto attack from death. She even turned around to charge into Xerath, but she died before she could even do damage, I believe. And now the minions aren't even going to be able to damage Xerath, as they will be working on channeling this tower. Meanwhile, we do in fact have a 3-cap coming onto a 4-cap onto the drill, and so that will leave their refinery as the only point remaining. Meanwhile, I'm just going to go ahead and drop some mushrooms to give my team vision and try to assist versus Kale here. She is going to be fleeing as she is rather low. I guess I'll pop Ghost. If I can get in there for a blinding dart, she is dead, and that is in fact the case. Yorick is going to be falling back from the point that he was assaulting, that Xerath was relatively easily defending, and oh bad, going to go ahead and have to send that blinding dart towards Tryndamere. I do not have my hourglass as of yet, so I am very dead, Teemo, and so that will be unfortunate for my team. Meanwhile, Katarina, she does have the storm buff, but she's not really in a position to do anything. She will be able to channel her ultimate if she can land it, but I don't believe it's on cooldown, and there it is. Yep, she's going to go ahead and channel it. It will not take down Yorick, and so we're going to have to look away from that fight to go ahead and purchase items for ourselves. Meanwhile, I am going to go ahead and get the armor for Zhonya's Hourglass. It does seem necessary at this point in time. There's the trumpet during that move quick, and we will just go ahead and continue to run along down there. My mushroom field, it really isn't that big at the moment. I do apologize for that, but we are only at the 10-minute mark. Just seeing the game is progressing a little bit faster than usual. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop a mushroom right here. Ideally, you want to put them right off the Fog of War, so that way whenever they do come visiting, they will be in a little bit of trouble. Going after Yorick here, being a little bit crazy. Yorick thinks he can kill me, but he's wrong, and so he will go down. But I don't have move quick, so I'm going to go down to the Yorick Ghost. So that will be that. Now here's the question: can the Yorick Ghost, in its brief seconds that it's alive, can it channel on a point? I'm kind of curious there. And speaking of which, Yorick really isn't a common pick on Dominion. I did upload a game saying he was rare, and then I'm going to of course send this game up that will show him in the enemy team. So he really isn't that common of a pick, but for some reason he has shown up. Have any of my mushrooms popped? No, actually Kali managed to run past my defenses by passing through that point down there. I'll be sure to put a mushroom down there next time. However, Aurelia is in trouble. I'm not going to get there in time, but I am going to be chasing in there with that blinding dart and so on. Going to exhaust her, and she knows not to engage me in a straight fight. She's going to be heading off towards the HP, which I am going to be taking instead, and that will allow her to quickly evacuate. I'm of course getting pinged to capture this point because I look like an idiot, and so now Sek is now pinging to defend that point, but I can't do anything because I am of course capturing the drill, and so that point is indeed in trouble. I'm running off via the speed trying to get there quickly. This Akali is very dead. She is in fact going to run away, but instead of finishing neutralizing the point, I'm going to go ahead and throw down some mushrooms over here. And she is up here. I hope Xerath knows about this. And she will escape, barely. Now remember that you do have a much faster recall time in Dominion compared to Summoner's Rift. So that will be that. I'm of course going to be waddling my way side to side, throwing down a mushroom right here, blinding Yorick and running. And he is going to face check into the mushroom, and that will be that. Meanwhile, he is, I don't have any mushrooms right here, he is going to be taking, I'm guessing standing in this brush right here. No, he's actually going to go ahead and get caught by my mushroom right here. And trying to progress over here. Now he's cutting across, he's retreating down to our quest point. Kale, meanwhile, has picked up the storm buff. I'm going to try to bait her towards me. It has been successful, and so now I will turn around, and hopefully I can keep her occupied. And we will see. I can't really see where... Oh my goodness, there's Kale. So let's just run this way. Tryndamere has shown his face up here, and that's another thing that I'm really in bad. While I'm good at catching up these points right here, I need to get more mushrooms on the actual point. And so that Tryndamere will be forced off of the point. He is, of course, going down there to get that HP, which he will indeed get. And I'm, of course, going to foolishly... I need him to hit that, and now he is going to die. And so that is a very dead Tryndamere. But we are, in fact, going to be losing the Boneyard, and so I'm not too certain if that was worth it. We do have several champions down there, but luckily I am managing to hold on. But that is a quest-buffed Yorick. I can't do anything against this, but unless I'm going to try, and so I will go ahead and die from that ghoul. How very embarrassing. I do have 2 mushrooms around here, which will be detected as soon as the point goes stealth, since it is, goes neutral, since they are so close to the point. And so that is going to be a bit unfortunate for me. And I'm about 300 from Hourglass. I'm not going to get that before I respawn. We need to take control of this point, but there are 3 enemy champions defending it. My team is instead doing the counter to that, which is not going after Tryndamere, but instead capturing the refinery. Hopefully York will in fact go down there and defend. I do apologize about that beep. That is a beep from Palringo, which I was foolishly running in the background at the time of this recording. And so that will of course be picked up, unless of course I scrap this whole replay to run at a later date. Meanwhile, I completely own this middle area with mushrooms. I know York is still around. For some reason he hasn't killed this mushroom over here. I'm not too certain what's going on there. Oh, that's because he, of course, has run off down here. He's recalled and run down there. And so we will be able to get the windmill back just fine. But we still do not have control of this boneyard. And so that will be a bit of a thorn for us, as we are going to lose this point soon. And possibly actually the drill, as Kale has managed to sneak her way down there, as of course she does have the point right next to it. I will not be able to get there in time before the point neutralizes, so this is relatively bad. I do not have an hourglass to help me out with this, and so I need my poison dart, but luckily she did go ahead and die from that second mushroom that I placed abruptly. She did sidestep after this one, but she didn't think I had another one right on cooldown. But enemy minions are in fact going to be channeling this point into their favor, so we will possibly be losing that drill soon. Tryndamere is channeling the drill, I mean not the drill, but the windmill, and so while I'm busy capturing this point and we're busy taking the boneyard, all this is going to do is basically give them a 3-2-2 advantage. They now have a 3-2-1 advantage. I need to capture this point relatively quickly. I think they're even going to be foolish enough to actually come down to this point after they've killed both of my mushrooms, which will give them a tiny bit of gold. And so I've managed to capture the drill, and I will be zooming off to try and stop them from continuing on. Gonna go ahead and put a mushroom here, and in general, me controlling this little zone isn't really doing much. I need to control the zone opposite from this, and so you can see that York is just sitting there. I don't know what he's doing, but what he's apparently doing is just trying to sit on that point and defend it, and so I will be falling back. I do not want them to pop that mushroom, and so we will need to go down and just take the refinery while York is down here. So I'm going to go ahead and pop Ghost, swing by the health, even though I will have the reduction of not going by the speed shrine, and start channeling. We can see that Kale and Akali are both coming up to me. I do not have the blessing, so I will not be making it back in time, which means I am going to go ahead and have to call off, throw down a mushroom right here, and dance, and hopefully they will not step by. And there will be Akali running by there with Kale. I'll give them a good 5 seconds, and now I can go ahead and go back onto the point, and it will be neutralized before Kale or Akali can reach back to the point. Now this is a little bit of a risk, but basically this will make it 2-2. Akali will definitely be coming, but if she comes back the way I thought she would, which she will not, she would have hit my mushrooms and I would have escaped just fine, although I ended up escaping just fine. I was not able to score a kill, and she came with buddies, so that is rather bad there. Tryndamere is going to start channeling. I need to escape down here, and that will blow up onto Akali, but remember that poison does not stack, so she's only really taking the damage from one mushroom. And so Malphite, a bit of QQing at me, telling me to always focus Akali, please, please. And so it will be 3-2 in their favor again. The score is, of course, 114-273. Let's look to see if they have any magic resist at all. No, they do not. So I'm going to go ahead and get me a Lich Bane if I can before the game ends. Meanwhile, I have respawned, so that was a few seconds lost on my part. We'll see if those few seconds actually cost the game. It is 2-2. I do not believe we're going to be able to hold on to that refinery. They are going to take it back, and so it will be 3-2 in their favor again. Late game, we are just losing overall. I was in first, but now Katarina has indeed taken the lead for my team as far as the points go, and so they have indeed taken the refinery. Since we do not own the windmill, there's no point for me to defend it, although they could possibly. Malphite's actually going to try to neutralize that. I'm going to go ahead and try channeling this. Morgana ought to be falling back soon. Oh, no, she doesn't have to, because they do have an Akali there. And so I'm very dead. Not even able to lay a mushroom, and so that will make them unstoppable. They do have 3 champions down here because I was down here. Akali is going to be coming up here relatively late. If we can kill this Yorick, who's actually doing really well for himself, we will take the 3-cap advantage back into our favor, and it will be 144-255 counting down into our favor. But it looks like we are indeed going to be losing this simultaneously. So this is not pretty at all. I'm not able to pick up the Sheen in time, so I will be retreating back over here. And so they will be taking this point back into their favor. I need to go ahead and just fire that shot off at Akali, stop that channel, and I am going down. I do not have the hourglass on cooldown, so I am just going to go ahead and go down and die, but my mushroom was at least able to pick off those 2 minions, which means the ensuing wave of minions will be able to push down here and eventually take the point, provided Morgana is unable to dark soil them. You can see Xerath is just absolutely owning Morgana, but at the same time Yorick has managed to pick off and end the push coming down for the refinery, so it will continue to still be 3-2 in their favor. It is 110-240 and counting down against us, and so we definitely need to take back this point. We need this win. That Morgana has a lot of AP, and she will be throwing down a dark soil shortly. Meanwhile, Katarina's talking about why does she get those who don't understand, and so apparently she's just raging at the game. I'm of course just trying to channel it in this point. You can see that Dark Binding barely missing and not able to really get this point. It is 2-1. We've lost the windmill, and so now it is 2-2, but that will soon be 3-2 in their favor again. And so we're going to need to get up there. I don't see us really able to do this in time personally. It is 107-232. I am of course recording this as I'm playing in case you somehow missed this earlier on. And so there's Tryndamere coming in over there. Aurelia is going to be coming in to intercept, and I need to go down up here and take the windmill before they return from killing off Malphite, which will indeed happen. Aurelia appears to have him under wraps, but no, it looks like Katarina is forced to retreat from the assault down there, and so Yorick will be able to toss down a minion before I'm able to get the point neutralized. I'm going to go ahead and start channeling this, and I will go ahead and die. Possibly should have moved quick instead, but my mushroom might be able to finish off this Yorick. No, in fact he won't, and actually he does have magic resist. I keep reading that Spirit Visage does indeed give magic resistance, so possibly should have built a Void Staff, but I'm not too certain if it was quite necessary. Malphite's going to be channeling this. It will become a 2-2. No, it will not, as Akali will indeed intercept. Meanwhile, Tryndamere is going to force Aurelia off of the point, and so we will in fact have to fall back and lose the point 107-2-0, and so that will in fact be the game. I hope you guys enjoyed it, enjoyed the whole little bit of showcasing of Super Teemo, and if you like what you see, of course, be sure to subscribe. This is Observious, signing off.